Lesson 1 NCERT Class 6. Who did Patrick's homework? Patrick never did his homework. Too boring, he said. He played hockey and basketball and Nintendo instead. His teachers told him, Patrick, do your homework or you won't learn a thing. And it's true, sometimes he did feel like an ignoramus. But what could he do? He hated homework. So, there once was a boy named Patrick. He never did his homework and he said too boring. Instead of doing homework, he played hockey and basketball and also Nintendo, a video game. His teachers always told him to do your homework or he'll never learn a thing. And it was true. Sometimes he did feel like who lacks education. But what could he do? He disliked homework. Then one day, he found his cat playing with a little doll and he grabbed it away. To his surprise, it wasn't a doll at all, but a man of the tiniest size. He had a little wool shirt with old-fashioned breeches and a high, tall hat, but much like a witch's. He yelled, "Save me! Don't give me back to that cat. I'll grant you a wish. I promise you that." So, one day he found his cat playing with a small doll and he took it away. But to his surprise, it was not a doll at all, but a man of the tiniest, smallest size he had ever seen. He was wearing little wool shirt with old-fashioned breeches. Breeches means short trousers. And a high tall hat much like a witch's. So he was wearing also a tall hat that looked like a witch's hat. He shouted, "Save me! Don't give me back to that cat. I'll promise that I'll give you a wish. I grant you. Save me, please," he said. Patrick couldn't believe how lucky he was. Here was the answer to all of his problems. So he said, "Only if you do all my homework till the end of the semester, that's 35 days, if you do good enough job, I could even get A's." So Patrick couldn't believe. He was surprised that how lucky he was. So here was the answer to all of his questions. So he said, "If you do all my homework till the end of the semester, and that is 35 days, if you do a great job, I could even get A grades." The little man's face wrinkled like a dishcloth thrown in hamper. He kicked his legs and doubled his fists, and he grimaced and scowled and pursed his lips. "Oh, I am cursed, but I'll do it." The little man's face was wrinkled. His face was turned into a worried face, and a dishcloth thrown into hamper. He kicked his legs and doubled his fists, and he also grimaced and scowled, and he pursed, means he moved his lips. He said, "I am cursed, but I'll do it," he said. So, let's move on. And true to his word, that little elf began to do Patrick's homework. Except there was one glitch. The elf didn't always know what to do and he needed help. Help me, he would say. And Patrick would have to help him in whatever way. And suddenly, through his word, the little elf started to do Patrick's homework. But there was only one glitch. The elf did not know how to do the problems, and he always know what to do and he needed help. So the elf knew what to do when he needed help. So he would say, help me. And Patrick would come and help him in whatever way. I don't know this word, the elf squeaked while reading Patrick's homework. Get me a dictionary. No, what's even better? Look up the word and sound it by each letter. So the elf once called Patrick and said, I don't know this word. The elf squeaked while reading Patrick's homework. Give me a dictionary. You know, what's even better? You should look up the word and sound it clearly by each letter in the dictionary, he said. When it came to mathematics, Patrick was out of luck. What are times tables? The elf shrieked. We elves never need that. So when it came to maths, Patrick was out of luck, means he didn't had luck. What are tables? The elf shrieked. The elves never needed that. And addition and subtraction and division and fractions. Here, sit down beside me. You simply must guide me. The elves know nothing of human history. So, to them, it's a mystery. So the elf, already a shouter, just got louder. Go to the library. I need books, more and more books. And you can help me read them too. So, in addition, subtraction, division and fractions, he said, sit beside me. You must help me. The elves didn't need it of human history, because to the elves it's a mystery. So the elf was already shouting. It got louder. So the elf said, go to the library. I need books. Borrow some more books and you can help me read them too, said to the Patrick, the elf. As a matter of fact, every day, in every way, that little elf was a nag. Patrick was working harder than ever, and it was a drag. He was staying up nights, had never felt so weary, was going to school with his eyes puffed and bleary. So, it was a fact. So it was a fact. Every day, in every way, the little elf was at a big trouble to Patrick. So Patrick was working harder and harder. He was doing hard than he did ever before. So it was a drag. He stayed up all night. He was never so felt really, and was going to school with his eyes reddish and sleepy. Finally, the last day of school arrived, and the elf was free to go. As for homework, there was no more. So he quietly and slightly slipped out the back door. So the last day of the academic came, and the elf was free to go. As he said, I am free to go. And without saying to Patrick, it went, and as homework, there was no homework to the elf anymore. So it quietly went out of the house of Patrick. Patrick got his ace. His classmates were amazed. His teachers smiled and were full of praise. And his parents, they wondered what had happened to Patrick. He was now the model kid. Cleaned his room, did his chores, was cheerful, never rude. He had developed a whole new attitude. Patrick got ace in his exams, and in his report card he got ace, and his classmates and teachers were shocked and was full of praise. His parents, what about them? They wondered what had happened to Patrick. Is he got something unknown, then they were so happy and they were so wondering what happened to Patrick, their parents. Now, Patrick was a model kid. He was a modern kid. Cleaned his room, did his daily chores. Chores means which we do every day regularly. Was cheerful, never rude, like he had developed a new attitude. So he was cheerful. He was never rude to anyone, like he had developed a very whole new attitude. You see, in the end, Patrick still thought he would make that tiny man do all his homework. But I'll share a secret. Just between you and me, it wasn't the elf. Patrick had done it itself. So, you see, in the end, Patrick still thought he would make that tiny man do all his homework. But the author wants to share a secret. The author. He is saying that just between you and me, I'll share a secret. It wasn't the elf. Patrick had done his homework himself. Thank you guys. If you like this video, like it and share, comment how it was, and also subscribe my channel so I can upload very new videos every day. Thank you. And so, the author of the lesson Who Did Patrick's Homework is Carol Moll.